Welcome back to Chance Myanmar. Thank you for joining. Today we are going to take a look at online interactions. This is Zoom calls, Skype calls, conferences. Are you ready? For many people, participating in online meetings is normal. Now we've had the pandemic, it's part of the new norm. As with all communication, there are steps you can take that's going to help you in these online interactions. As with all things, preparation is key. So you need to make sure that you prepare for your call. So what can you do? Let's take a look at what you should do before a meeting. You need to check for any disturbances. Nobody wants to see your family in the background and nobody wants to hear your fan. So make sure that you are in a nice position where you will not be disturbed. The next thing you need to do is check your camera and microphone. This is the most important thing you need to do. This is going to help you communicate clearly. Check your lighting. Be careful with backlighting. Natural is best. You need nice, clean surroundings. If there's a problem with your surroundings, then you might want to try a virtual background. Finally, you need to check in 5 minutes before the call starts. Like problems with telephones, there's going to be some interruptions when you are trying to have an online meeting. Let's get these out the way now. Let's think about how you can prepare for these and some phrases that you may hear. The most common one is, sorry, I cannot hear you. So you need to think about your microphone. Maybe you need to check some button. Maybe you've not switched it on. The next one is, sorry, I can see you, but I cannot hear you. So again, you need to check something. The next one, Shona's screen has frozen. This means you're not moving. I'm sorry, I am having difficulty hearing you. I'm sorry, I am having trouble hearing you. Again, you need to check something. Stay calm. If you can't resolve these issues, log off the call, perhaps send a message, and then try to rejoin as quick as you can. Now it's time to start the meeting. This will usually be done by the chairperson, and there'll generally be a roll call to make sure that everyone is on the call. If there's any new people in the chat or some people you don't know, then you may hear, please join me in welcoming, where you will be expected to maybe introduce yourselves or just give a quick hi, nice to meet you. After the greetings, then the meeting is going to start. Most meetings will start with giving some structure. So remember, nobody has all the time in the world. A meeting has to be structured. It has to be time effective. So you may hear, the meeting is due to finish at. And this meeting has been called to. Now, note these linking words. This is going to give structure. So, firstly, secondly, thirdly, lastly. Can you think of any more? This is going to set out the aims of the lesson and the points that are going to be spoken about. Now, you're in a meeting online. Of course, you are going to be asked to share your thoughts. Now, we have been over this in our lesson on sharing your ideas professionally, but let's recap because you're going to hear some of the same phrases. I would like you to think about completing some of these sentences, make them applicable to you. So let's get started. So, Shona, what are your thoughts on the campaign? Shona, what do you think about the campaign? What are your views on? What's your opinion of? How do you feel about? You will then need to share your ideas. So if you remember, you can do that with phrases like, I believe, I feel that, I think that I am convinced that, I am in favour of. Our best course of action is. You are going to have times that you don't understand something. You will need to clarify some points. If time is an issue or you feel too uncomfortable asking during the meeting, so interrupting, then just send an email or a message after to confirm the points. But let's take a look at some phrases you can use to clarify points. I'm sorry, but I'm not sure I understand. You could say, I'm sorry, but I'm not sure that I understand, but this is for formal writing. Sorry, I'm not sure that I know what you mean. Sorry, but I don't quite follow. Could you be more specific? Could you give me an example? Could you elaborate on that, please? All of these phrases are an invitation to the other participants to clear up some points. Don't be afraid to ask people to clarify. It's your job at the end of the day, and it's important you understand what you're doing and when you need to do it. Let's take a look at some phrases you can use for confirmations. Let me check I understand your point about. Could you say it in another way? Can you clarify that for me, please? Could you rephrase that, please? To rephrase means to say it in another way. When you say fill in the blank, do you mean fill in the blank? Now, if you want to add a point, could I add something here, please? Can I raise a point? I would like to come in here if I may. Come in means to interrupt. A good meeting is structured and time effective. So how can you control a meeting? What phrases can you use? Remember, nobody wants to be in a meeting longer than they need to be. So let's take a look at these phrases. We are a little behind on time. I would like to move on to the next item. Let's move on to the next item. I would like to hand over to Shona. She will handle the next item. I am afraid that is out of the scope of this meeting. Let's get back on track. I think we're getting off topic. If you hear these phrases, it means that the direction of the meeting has been lost. There's no structure, we're not on track, and you're probably going to go over time. So think about these and when you hear them and what you need to do. You have now reached the end of the meeting and you will need to conclude the points made. So some useful phrases you can use to do that include before we close, to summarize, to conclude. I will go over the main points. We have agreed to. It is very common for the next meeting to be called. So you may hear, our next meeting will be held on date. You want to end the meeting with good energy. So some ways that you can do that is to thank all your participants for joining the call. You may hear, thank you all for participating, or have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Congratulations, you have completed another unit. Remember, practice makes perfect and boosts your confidence. I hope to see you in the next unit where we're going to study a whole variety of useful phrases, vocabulary and expressions. See you soon.